Let's see here. This works the way it normally works. Okay, we've got the second live signal. Now I'm going to go and see if I can find this broadcast and see if our audio is okay. We haven't had the chipmunk voice for a while. Let's see what happens here this time. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so we got a little bit of a pregame show. You can see there it's coming up on 8 minutes before the hour. We're supposed to start at 5 o'clock. This is an emergency broadcast. It was not scheduled. I scheduled it a couple of hours ago as a result of some issues online, and we're going to get into it a little bit on this servicing question. A lot of people talking about how important servicing is and warranty and how well these watch companies stand behind their watches. And as is usually the case on this channel, we're going to come in with a counter argument to that. It's going to be a little bit of crazy talk today. And by the way, I do want to finish up on our talk about China also. I want to talk about that too, because we didn't finish that up last time. So this is going to be an extension of crazy talk, and we're going to talk about servicing these watches, these high-end watches. Expensive watches. To me, an expensive watch is anything more than a few $1,000s. That's getting up there in the prices to where I demand 100% reliability. I will not put up with a failure on a watch such as this right here. It's not acceptable to me that this watch would need to be serviced or repaired. Not acceptable. If I'm going to spend the kind of money that I would spend for this spring drive watch, I expect it to be delivered to me in perfect condition. I expect the quality control to be such that there are no issues. And I expect the watch to run literally for decades without anybody opening the case. That's what I expect. And if I got less than that, the watch would be gone. Zero tolerance here. If that watch right there just stopped all of a sudden, just for no apparent reason, just stopped, okay, it would be gone. It wouldn't have time to be serviced. Maybe I would let them service and then I'd sell it, but I'd probably just sell it as is. I'd probably just blow it out. Now, I would raise Cain with them and see if they would replace the watch with one in perfect condition, and then I might be forgiving and I might take a replacement watch. But to have it sent in and fixed, no, that's totally unacceptable to me. And I don't pay that kind of money for a watch to go through that kind of issue. So I don't care if the watch has a 3-year warranty, a 5-year warranty, a 10-year warranty. I don't care, because it's a non-issue for me, because I don't want to put up with it. I don't want to put up with the problems of having a watch that I can't 100% rely on. The reason I step up and spend money on a watch like this is I want to be able to 100% rely on it. I use it as a tool. I use it in my daily work. I was at an event yesterday. I had a lot of things that were time sensitive. I used this watch the whole time. And I don't want to look at it and be guessing as to whether or not the time is correct or not. I don't want to have that kind of lack of reliability in the back of my mind that, well, they serviced it, maybe it's okay, whatever, it failed once, but they fixed it, and all. No, I don't want to go there. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that has zero tolerance for a problem? Now, this goes for Rolex. I had them for 40 years, many of which I bought brand new. Now, if I buy a watch used, this is the exception to the rule. If I buy a watch used that has issues, I know I've bought a watch used that has issues or potentially has issues. And I bought a couple of Rolexes way back in the day. One, it literally had water damage. I mean, it was a mess, right? And I took it to Rolex New York, and they serviced it, and it came back like new. I mean, it was very nice, right? They did a great job. But I got a really good buy on that watch, and I knew what I was getting, right? I knew I was going to go through that drill. And I was actually going to resell the watch anyway, so it wasn't really a non-issue. So, but for a watch that I'm going to actually use, I have zero tolerance for issues. Here's the thread on the Grand Seiko Owners Group. This gentleman posted this video. Let me see if I can play this. See how the bezel is all loose there? Okay, and he claims he sent it back a couple of times. There's a whole bunch of comments on this. Very bad PR for Grand Seiko. A whole bunch of comments on this about people saying it's totally unacceptable. The watch evidently went back twice to be repaired, and they still haven't gotten it right. I actually wrote to the vice president at Grand Seiko that I've had contact with. He doesn't listen to me, so it doesn't really matter. But I wrote to him, and I copied to Steve. I said, this is totally unacceptable. Somebody should be all over this post. Somebody should be talking to this guy and getting him a watch. FedExing him a freaking replacement brand new watch in the freaking box. That's what should be happening here. But here's the thing. All of these watch companies are bureaucracies just like any other company. They've only got so much latitude what they can do. Rolex probably wouldn't replace the watch. They'd probably want you to send it in and get it serviced. And I've heard horror stories about excuse me. Drink something here. I've heard horror stories about Rolex. Now, I've never had any bad experience with Rolex. I've had, I think, 2 watches serviced by Rolex New York many, many years ago now. And then they stopped servicing them in New York, and you had to send them to Texas. I think I sent 1 to Texas. I think I've had 3 watches serviced years and years ago, most of which I bought used that I knew were going to need it. All of which I bought used. I've never had any watch I bought new serviced, as far as a Rolex goes, or any other watch that I bought new. So we've already talked about that. Just wear the watch until it gives trouble and then send it in and have it serviced. And that should be decades. My date was 18 and a half years old or something when I sold it. It had never been serviced. It's still running fine. So yeah, you don't have to service these things. But anyway, I digress. So the point is, Rolex also, you hear these horror stories about servicing. But here's the thing. You don't hear the thousands of watches that go in and it's fine. They service them, they come back, they're in mint condition, they do a great job. You don't hear about those. You hear about the exception to the rule. And this one on this Grand Seiko, I talked to Steve about this. It's definitely the exception to the rule. I mean, he tells me, and I believe him to be an honest man, he tells me he's never had a Grand Seiko come back with any kind of issue. He's been selling them for, I think, 4 years now. And he sold quite a few watches, and he's never had one come back with any kind of issues. He says it's probably his best brand from that standpoint, from a standpoint of not having any issues. And by the way, somebody else commented on one of my other videos about the video that I said that stainless steel is not a luxury material, that it's not a luxury watch if it's a stainless steel watch, basically. It's just a tool. It's a watch to wear and use, right? It's not to me, a luxury watch is precious metal, right? Not 904L stainless steel. But anyway, he comes back and he says, 904 is very exotic. It's expensive. It's got items in it that are limited, in availability, and it's harder than the titanium that Grand Seiko uses, and blah, 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 and all this stuff, right? First of all, I don't think it is. I don't think it is harder than the titanium as a matter of fact, the information that I have on my page that I've checked and rechecked and double-checked says that the alloy, the titanium alloy that Grand Seiko uses, is actually harder than the 904L. But anyway, they're both very, very tough materials, but neither are precious metals. So there's that. And there are very affordable watches that are made out of 904L. They're like $1,000 watches that are made out of 904L. So there's that. Let's see here. A lot of people saying hi in here. Carlos says we got good sound. Quite the trigger finger. Okay, what did Carlos do now? Have you seen recent interviews with Steve Bannon about China? Carlos in the house. We're going to talk about China. Is there a watch lemon law? That's a good question, R.J. Lane. In some states, it might apply. If you send it back 3 times for service or something, like a lot of those lemon laws, like a car, they have to give you a new car or something, right? With the profit margins on these luxury brands, there is zero excuse for quality control issues. Stuff happens, but if anything is less than perfect, they should be happy to replace it for that price. I agree, Tim. I agree. Absolutely. I will not put up with it. I don't think we should put up with it. I think we should raise holy, you know what? I think GS is starting to have too many models, which can lead to quality control issues. Well, and I think they have been trying to keep up with demand and crank them out probably a little faster than normal. But again, I have not gotten any feedback from Steve that this is a legit problem. This particular one watch on Facebook, does not a trend make. And people say, well, I've heard other problems and so on and so forth. Again, you're only going to hear about the problems. You're generally not going to hear about all the watches that are fine, that there's no issues. And that's what Steve told me. He says, basically, I've never had a watch come back with issues. So, I mean, in 3 years, and he sold a lot of watches, I think 4 years now, and he sold a lot of watches, that's saying something right there. Let's see here. On the flip side, if people buy gray market or used, then try to pressure the brand into replacing them, then that is different. But AD sales should be 100% guaranteed. Well, yeah, it should be the original owner. If you're buying something used, you're always taking a chance, that it could have been monkeyed around with, or, you don't know the history of the watch. It should be an original owner piece that they should stand behind like that, I think. 904L is softer than 316, but more resistant to corrosion and nicer polish and brushing, I think. I think you might be right on that, Carlos. What do you guys think of the Omega Constellation Globemaster and the new Seamaster 300 meter? What's the thickness of that new Seamaster 300 meter? I've heard they're a little bit thicker than they were in the past. That's my downside to me with a lot of Omegas these days. A lot of them are a little bit on the thick side, a little bit thick, as opposed to this elegant beauty right there that's only, we looked at that the other day, that's only like 10 mils thick. Yeah, 11.6 mils thick. There you go. So yeah, and we looked at, and we talked about the Batman and all the other day, so I'm going to close that tab. We're not going to talk about the Batman again, or the Batgirl. And we close this one. See what else we got here. Yeah. Now here's a luxury material. Here's a luxury material right there. Look at that puppy. I think that would be kind of cool, especially like down in Florida or something like that with the white dial. I think it would be pretty legible. 18 karat yellow gold is always a good move on a Rolex. That always looks great. And this one has the conventional clasp, so it's real easy to adjust. It's got micro adjustments and so forth. And it's very comfortable on wrist. So that's a possibility right there. I don't mind the old style clasp. I really don't. The nice, easy micro adjustments there. It looks like it's in really good shape. That's a possibility right there, folks. Absolutely. Now you're talking a luxury material. Forget 904L. Okay, so let's talk about China real quick here while we're waiting. 13.7 mils thickness on the Seamaster 300. See, this one's 14 mils, and I wish it was thinner. I wish it was 12 and a half. The Submariners years ago were like 12 and a half. They've gotten a little thicker too now. That's why I went to a GMT. When the Submariner started getting thicker, that's when I went to the GMT because they're thinner than the Sub, right? And so I would like to see them get that down to 12 and a half mils in that range. I think that's where I would be hunting. Omega raises its warranty on all watches. Let's just see here. 5 years. Well, again, I don't care what their warranty is because if I have to put in a warranty claim after 5 years, I'm going to be pissed. I do not want to go through that. I want the watch to just work. I expect this watch to work for decades without me having to do anything because this one doesn't even have an escapement, right? So by all accounts, the spring drive is very robust and they literally run for decades. They've been out now for, I think, 15 or 20 years since they came out. And a lot of people have original watches that have never been serviced and they're working fine. So that's what I expect. I expect literally decades out of these high-end watches without any issues. Let's see here. Jason's in the house. And I think all these Facebook groups continue to Rolex craziness. Craig is like a cult. Dang, I have to write. I don't know what you're saying there, Carlos. Okay, so here's the deal on China. People are complaining if we get into a trade war, right? In other words, if we really want fair trade with China, we want us to have no tariffs on their items coming in, and we want no tariffs on our items going there. That's fair trade. Okay, it ain't fair when they don't play by the rules and we play by the rules, right? So people say, well, no, if we hit them with tariffs, it hurts the consumer. The consumer is going to have to pay more money for the junk coming from China. Well, here's the deal. It's going to be painful, right? Oh my gosh, my stocks are going to go down. People don't remember. It was a little bit painful during World War II also. A lot of people went through some pain in that war. That was a war, right? This is a trade war with China. It's war. It's a different type of war, but we should expect some pain. And I think that people can do without all the junk coming from China, the vast majority of it. Now, I can keep my iPhone for a couple more years, not buy another one. It'll work for a couple more years. I'll go on an austerity program. I'm willing to do that. If it'll straighten these Chinese out from stealing our intellectual property and cheating on every time they turn around and so on and so forth. They're not good folks. So these folks that are running, I'm not talking about the average person over there, but the people that are running the show, evidently they got issues. I think a little bit of pain standing up to those folks would be a good idea. That's what I say. I agree, Craig. Nobody is really deep diving with the luxury divers these days, so I'd rather have them thinner for daily wear. Absolutely. Absolutely. Get them down to 12 mils. That one right there is 12 mils, and it's good to 100 meters. Now, it's, of course, a 9F movement. But, you know, the interesting thing about the 9F movement is the plate that it's all built on is thicker than most quartz movements. Everything is beefier in that 9F than your typical quartz movement. That's why it's so robust. And that's why it's a better movement than the Citizen quartz movements that have some advances on them, but they don't have the robustness of the 9F. So that's a heavy duty work type movement there, that 9F. So interviews with Steve Bannon about China. I understand he is controversial but might be right, blah, blah, blah. I've heard a lot of things that he said that make sense. And all these people saying, well, the manufacturing will never come back to the U.S., blah, 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 and all that. Why not? We can build things here. We generally build better things here. So I don't buy that either. It's these big multinational corporations that want the slave labor and so forth to make all this junk and bring it over here and put it in Walmart and people go there and buy it. It's the people's fault. They're buying this junk. I stayed at Walmart with my motor coach several times, and I'll go in and I'll buy some groceries, because they let me stay for free in their parking lot with the coach. But I don't buy other junk there. I don't shop there. And I'm getting to where I might just tell these people that are sending me stuff from China to do product reviews on, they send me this stuff for free. And my policy has always been, if I like it, I'll do a review. If I don't like it, I won't do anything. Either way, you're not getting the item back that you sent me. I'm not wasting my time sending something back. So they send me stuff, and I do reviews on it. But I might get to the point where I'll just tell them, forget about it. If it's made in China, just forget about it. I'll pass. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but that's how about we build stuff over here? Yeah. There you go. And see, to me, it seems like it would be so much more efficient. Yes, shipping stuff on a huge container ship is the cheapest way to move anything. The cheapest way to move anything 10,000 miles is by those gargantuan container ships, right? Matter of fact, it's cheaper in some cases to send something 10,000 miles on one of those container ships than to move something like 500 miles here in the U.S., right? So, but still, I just think it'd be kind of cool if we had factories making the things here, and then we put the stuff on a train, and then the train brought it relatively near, and then the truck brought it the rest of the way. Trains are pretty efficient too. Not as efficient as those huge container ships, but they're pretty efficient. And we can be moving stuff, around. We could do it. Stuff is moved anyway by train. I mean, a lot of stuff that comes in from China comes into the port of Los Angeles or whatever, and then they put it on trains and stuff, and then trucks and so on. So, I mean, it still gets moved around here in the country. So I think that it would be okay to build it here. That's what I say. Let's see. Biggest threat to U.S. in the history, more than atomic war, okay? Bulova, great American product. We let, through the cracks, we don't take care of our own in America. Okay? We used to have one watch, one car, one pen, one good pair of shoes because stuff was expensive but had quality. I'm all for bringing back all the production to the West. There we go. Heck yeah. Crazy talk here today. I'm wearing a Bulova oceanographer today, okay? Craig, should we buy Greenland? Maybe. Yeah, because if all the ice is melting there, then maybe Trump can build some hotels there. Oh, boy. And then somebody said the ice is actually getting thicker at the South Pole in Antarctica, that the ice is actually getting thicker. So I don't know. I don't know who to believe. All I know is we've had a great summer here in Maryland. We've only had a few of those typical hot, humid days that were miserable. Most of the days have been beautiful. I've gotten my nice long walk in just about every day. I got a nice long walk in today. It's downright cool today. I almost had to put a sweater on. So I don't know where this global warming is. Hurry up and get here. Let's see. People are buying high volume, low quality items with large credit card debt and zero cash nowadays. We can't sustain that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It is amazing that people just keep taking on debt, keep refinancing their home. These people are worth $10,000 on Bitcoin right now. These people are like, it's like they take out a 30-year note when they buy a house, and 30 years comes and goes, and they've refinanced it 4 times. They owe more on it than when they took out their first note 30 years prior, and they've been paying the whole time, and they still don't have the house paid off. What the heck is that about? Oh my goodness. And they're like, oh yeah, well, I can use the money for other things and so on and so forth. Yeah, I guess you can. Just stay in debt your whole freaking life. Wristwatch check. What's everyone wearing today? Of course, I've got the the titanium stunner diver spring drive. Really performed great at the event yesterday. I went to the last PPF Family Fundraiser Phenomenon. Debbie Williams has been putting those on for about 15 years. She had the PPF organization going for 27 years. And I went to the last one, and we had a good time. And Jody Messina was the headliner, and she's pretty cool. Let me see if I can show you guys a photo. Photo of beautiful people. Beautiful people. Let's see here. Here's, let's see. Now, that's not the granddaughter of Patty Pilatus. Let's see. I'm trying to find a photo here to show you guys. There she is. There she is. Okay, so the Patty Pilatus Fund was started, Debbie Williams started it. Her friend got cancer. She was young. Her friend got cancer and was going to die, and she raised money so that she could die with dignity in her home. And her name was Patty Pilatus, the woman that died, and and then Debbie started the Patty Pilatus Fund to raise money for people that were middle income but struck by cancer or something like that, and couldn't get the help that other folks, that poorer people can get, or that rich people, of course, have the money, right? This was more for people in the middle income. And the little girl there with the hair, she's, I think, the granddaughter of Patty Pilatus. So there you go. So they had the fundraiser, the annual event at the fairgrounds, and here's some more beautiful people. They had a rodeo there, and of course they had a bunch of live entertainment, and we'll just pop through a few of these photos. These are all on my Flickr. There's the color guard that was there. Good folks all. And there's the little girl again with her hair. Some folks in the family there. Good looking folks. Just kind of breezing through here. This is the VIP section. There's the sheriff, good friend of mine, and Senator David Brinkley. And there is Regina Williams in the middle right there in the black. She's Debbie's daughter, Debbie Williams' daughter. So we'll keep blasting through here. And there is Southern Comfort, a band that played before Jody Messina came on. And Debbie also, her band also performed. And all those signs in the back there are all sponsors. And there's a big sign for Frederick.com there also. And there's the Calvary Church folks were there, and they had some girls dressed up for kids to get photos taken with them. There's some sponsors in the VIP tent there. Criswell Chevrolet is a big sponsor. This guy, Joe Stebbing, he's right near Thurmont here. He does wood carving. That's his family. And that young lady on the left, you'll see her riding the horse with the flag later. She's really cool. Cowgirl. There's those young ladies again. And they're getting ready to do some mutton busting. They're going to ride those sheep. Gonna blast through here. There's some beautiful people having a fun time. And there's Regina Williams on the right. She ran for county executive but didn't win, unfortunately. We're going to keep going. There's the rodeo. They're having the rodeo. There's the finest, keeping us safe. And these folks here are the ones that run and save the cowboy. If he gets bucked and gets stomped on, these folks here give first aid and take care of the cowboy. And there's Regina on the right and Lisa Williams next to her. And there's the food. I had some of that food. They have food for the VIPs. And blasting through. There's a couple having a good time. And blasting through here. Some folks in the infield there. Getting ready for the Joe D. Messina. And I'll have a video coming up maybe tomorrow. I've got some audio files that the audio engineer is going to send me. There's Debbie's band. He was good. That guy on the guitar, he was good. There's Debbie Williams performing. And that's her husband, Paul. And keep going. Beautiful people. Lots of beautiful people. And there she is. And you'll see her riding the horse too in a minute there. That was, that previous photo was, you know, for those that have fallen in service to this great country. Here she is riding. She rode around in a circle there. She's in the video too. She's adorable. She's a cowgirl. And there's Kelly Schultz on the left. She's a VIP with the state of Maryland, and there's Senator Brinkley next to her. And there's Debbie Williams in the middle there in the black. Young lady on the horse again. So there you go. Well, it was a fun event. She got a proclamation from the governor and all that good stuff. And that's Regina again. Some more photos of that. And there's the young granddaughter. She wanted to talk in the mic. she wanted to be on TV. That's right. She's in the video. And there's the Southern Comfort girls again. So let's go on through here. There's the flag. Old Glory. There you go. All right. There's a ton of photos. There's a whole bunch more. There's the bull. Look at that. There's the bull rider. Fun day. Fun day. Absolutely. And those are on the right is Regina's girl, and she performed. She's a heck of a singer. Let's find the Frederick.com sign here. We'll stop on that. Where the heck is it? There it is. Frederick.com. There on the right next to the J Bar W Ranch. Platinum sponsor. That's how we do that. Platinum sponsor. Sponsored that for the whole 15 years. I got videos from almost every year. Let's see here. Gave the Rolex sub no date a break today. Okay, somebody's wearing a Hamilton. And let's see here. Let me get caught up on these comments. Greenland is about geopolitics. Chinese are extracting rare metals and minerals there. I've been rocking my Lexus ES 300 for almost 10 years now. My first and only car. None of these throwaway cars for me. Japanese-made Toyotas are the best. Absolutely. Keep that puppy service. Keep good fluids in it. Now, I do keep the fluids and all that stuff in good shape in the cars. I do service my cars now. Just don't service the watches. Let's see. I'm wearing my Seiko Sumo. There you go. Blue Boulevard. Bonjour from France. GS GMT working great. David Williams have been serving as party DJ, so could not contribute to the chat until now. We'll watch the replay. There you go. Hamilton Jack Ryan. Okay. Let's see here. What else we got here? Congratulations on another successful PPF event. This is the last PPF family fundraiser. It's the last one. Debbie's retiring. The end of the year, she's going to shut down ppfinc.org. Well, I guess we'll keep the website up and link to some, probably put the videos on there. But yeah, she's wrapping that up after 27 years, about 15 years of doing the family fundraiser phenomenon. Let's see here. Happy Sunday. Hi, Watch Gang. Our Wags in the house. Okay. Understand that it would be a bad idea to go to Las Vegas with a 12-year-old. Am I right? That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't been to Vegas for so long. It's going to be hot this time of the year. I guess it's hot there most times of the year. I guess it's cool in the evening, right? Let's see. Depends on what you want to do while there. Actually, my first visit to Las Vegas was when I was 10 years old. David, getting around. Craig, on the road from just leaving a Red Bar event. Yeah, Durr in the house. He's out there making things happen. Check your Facebook Messenger. Exclusive Grand Seiko pick. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look and see. A Japanese exclusive. Oh, look at that. Look at that puppy. Is that interesting? That's interesting. It looks like the lugs, though, a little bit bulbous. It almost looks like they made it like a super case. Those lugs don't look as attractive as the lugs on my diver. That's a shame if they did that. It's probably thinner, though, because it's a 9F. It's probably like 12 mils thick or something. And I don't mind the crown at the 4 o'clock position. Some people bitch about that. But I do like the fact that there's no date. I do like that. So there's some interesting things about that watch. But I'd have to see it in person because those lugs, it looks a little bit like almost like a super case design, which is a total fail. But I'd have to see it in person to make sure. All right, I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon because I have not eaten dinner, even though I had a lot to eat yesterday at the event. They had great pulled pork barbecue and chicken and beans and all kinds of good stuff in the VIP tent there. So that's how that works. Let's see here. Yeah, everybody just take another look at that watch there. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool, but not sure about those lugs. Okay, so be in California with my family in early November, and I'm considering to go from LA to Las Vegas 2 to 3 days. There you go. Sporting my 14060 from the late 90s. Still +2, -2. Can hardly believe it. Now, has it ever been serviced, RJ Lane? Has it ever been serviced? Probably not, right? It's still running great. It's a shame PPF doesn't have any new folks carrying on the torch. That's what eating off brand potato chips in parents' basements does for you. Well, here's the thing. The PPF organization, since day one, was totally volunteer. And every penny they raised literally went to the needy individual. And when she put on these events, everything was donated, right down to the plastic, knives and forks and the Coca-Cola products. Everything was 100% donated, so that all the money that she raised literally would go to these individuals, and that is unheard of with charities. First of all, it's unheard of to be able to get people to cough up all that stuff for free and to sponsor these things the way she was able to get everybody in line to do all of that. And then to have all the people that help with the events be totally 100% volunteer, yeah, it's hard to get somebody to step up and do that. To take over the running that thing. And she's one of a kind. She's just a very special young lady, and she won't say her age. I don't know if she's younger than, I think she's older than me though. But she won't, she says her age is classified, and she is not on Facebook. It never was. So there's that. Very nice lady though. But you guys should check out the video. I did put up a video of Sierra performing there. She's just adorable. Well, let me play a little bit of it. I'll play a little bit of it here for you, if I can get it, if I can find it here. Da, da, da. And you guys should go and put a comment on there. She's a good singer. She sang a little bit of Harper Valley PTA. They were running out of time, and they had to move on, so they couldn't let her sing the whole song. So they said, we'll just do one verse. See if I can get this thing here to load up. It's loading. Everything's loading slow on my computer. Well, if it loads up, it loads up. Oh, here it is. Sierra at the PPF. See if we can get this to play.
If you
This is Regina's daughter. She's the one on the right there.
Do one verse of Harper Valley PTA.
Go full screen on this. And that's Debbie there with her. He's good. There you go, live from the PPF event.
If you enjoy local
And there's our
content
little,
like
little
this,
bug on the end
please
there.
like, comment, and share
Join
this
us.
video. If you own a
Join
local
us.
business, please
Give
join
us money. That's the way that works. All right, there'll be a big video coming of the whole event, maybe tomorrow. They're getting me some audio files. The sound guys get me some audio files so I can mix those in, get some better
Ashley
audio.
Home
But
Store has some
hopefully
of
he'll
the
get those to
top-rated
me
kids
tomorrow, and I'll
bags
get
on
that
sale
video up.
now.
I've got the timeline all
Click
set up.
the link to
It's going to
find
be
your
an
local
hour-long
store
video.
and
It's
come
going
in
to be a biggie.
today and see why we're America's number
Let's
one
see
furniture
here,
and mattress store. Ashley Home Store.
Never service.
This is
Oh, wait,
home.
is this still playing? Doggone it. I'm sorry. Get rid of that. Ah. Okay, so I should have paid better attention to that. Now that's killed. Okay, so I was saying I got a video coming out maybe tomorrow if they get the audio all straight. They're going to send me an audio file. The audio that I recorded, you just heard, that was what I recorded on my camera, and it was okay. But the sound guy's supposed to get me a mix recorded at his station, so we'll see what that's like. RJ Lane says, never serviced, never needed it, knock on wood. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Prefer the Ganault Ocean Rover. I've heard good things about Ganault as far as their quality. He may be tried for desertion. Somebody, okay, we got something going on here. 100% donated is extremely unusual for nonprofits. Most have high overhead costs. There you go. Exactly. Do you think three-hand watches, no dates, etc., are naturally more robust, or is that an old wives' tale? Well, I would think the less complications, the better. Yeah, I would think no date would be a plus from that standpoint. But again, I've heard nothing to indicate that, like, for example, this watch here is not absolutely robust. I mean, Steve has had no issues. So I think this whole thing about watch servicing and warranties and all that, I think it's totally overblown. I think it's a non-issue. I think the biggest issue is people end up buying watches that they don't need and can't afford. They buy too many watches. They don't wear their watch. They've got it sitting in a box at home. I think that's the bigger issue. I think the thing is, you get a watch that you really like and you wear it and you enjoy it and you move on with life. Trust me, folks, life is fleeting. The time goes fast, and as you get older, it's just right now, months are going by like that for me. Just a month. Just like that. It's just insane. So yeah, there are bigger things to worry about than servicing and warranties and all that kind of stuff on watches, I think. That's just the way I hear it, though. Let's see. I want to go down to the pawn shop of History Channel, okay? All that guaranteed money up front. He marches to the beat of it. Okay. Oh, so we're talking about something. Okay. Shame that sound couldn't be better. She sounds great. Yeah, we'll see what the sound guy... I don't know if he's going to get me her sound or not. I know he got me Debbie's and all that. And also, you're hearing it like a couple times removed. If you watch it direct on YouTube, it'll probably be a little bit better for you. But yeah, she's good. She's going to be good. Her Debbie Williams is real good, and she's her mentor, so she'll be good. Sierra, she'll be good. And we're supposed to have a recording session with Debbie's band. She wants me to record something for her to use as a demo. So she's going to set something up somewhere with good acoustics, and I'm going to bring my professional gear, my professional recorder in there, and we're going to record her. And we'll see if we can get Sierra in there to record a song too. That'd be fun. Three-handers could be more robust because there's less complication to go. Absolutely. Always take these watchmakers with a grain of salt, telling you that you need to take your Rolex in every 3 years for servicing. Vested interest in over-maintaining watches. Yeah, and I wonder if some of them just like clean the outside of the watch and don't even touch it and just charge you. I wonder how much of that is legit. As you get older, it accelerates crazy, but too, yeah, it's insane. Hello, so what do you like the most, Rolex or GS? Well, right now, I'm totally spoiled with this diver right now because it is super comfortable on wrist because of the titanium. And, of course, Rolex doesn't offer that. And the accuracy is just insane. I mean, it's like within a second since daylight savings time. I mean, it's insane. And it just sits there and just keeps running. So I'm spoiled right now. I don't think I could go back to Rolex. I really don't. The legibility on this, just everything about this is just hitting it out of the park. And I think it's a good-looking watch. I think it looks good on wrist. It just does it all. And then this one is more trim, so when it comes to the cool weather here, coming up here in a jiffy, it's going to be cool fall weather. I'm going to need a watch to wear underneath shirt cuffs. And that puppy right there is going to serve that purpose. So I've got both of the major use cases for me kind of covered at this point with this 2-watch rotation. So yeah, I think GS is in it. I'm in it for the duration maybe with GS. I don't know if I can go back to Rolex. We'll see. I'm starting to feel the call for a birth year, 1968 Speedmaster, Man on the Moon. I might swap the date just 36 that I do not use for one. I have to think about it and study it as, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Speedmasters. I'd pass on that whole situation there. I'm not a big fan of those watches. Show some macros. Does it show a lot of scratches? I put a video up not too long ago here on my channel with some pretty close-ups, an update on this watch. It's got some fine scratches on it here and there, but it's very minor, and it still looks great. With this is a year and a half of heavy use. So I put a video up. Geez, it wasn't a month ago. So check it out here on the channel. It's up. It's. I think it's holding up great. There are a lot of scratches on the clasp, which is stainless steel. There's a lot of scratches on that, but the watch itself, I think, is holding up pretty good considering what I'm putting it through. So yeah, I'm very pleased. Definitely holding up better than any stainless steel watches I've ever had. Craig, would you buy a Day-Date 40 if it came with a quartz movement on par with the 9F? If they licensed and put the spring drive in a Day-Date 40, yeah, I probably would. But I don't know if I want a 40. I might want a Day-Date 36. I don't know if I want the 40. Again, the weight. That's a lot of weight to carry on the wrist all the time. The Day-Date 36, the 18238 that I had, was very comfortable on wrist, but again, it had hollow center links. It wasn't as heavy as the 36 mil. If you buy a 36 mil Day-Date today, it's heavier, right? And the 40, a lot heavier. So I might have to go with a 36 mil, and the 36 mil is a great size for a Day-Date. I don't buy into this watches have to be big thing that everybody's buying into these days. I don't buy into that. I think the Day-Date 36 is gorgeous. Maybe we need, let's see, to go undercover with some watchmaker servicers. There you go. Craig, what do you think about Tag Heuer Monica Caliber 11, the Steve McQueen watch? Yeah, I would pass on that. I'm not a fan of that watch. Craig, can these scratches be polished? I think you can. I did polish out some small scratches on one of my snowflakes. I very carefully polished it, and it worked. You can polish some things out of titanium if you're careful. Yes, you can. But again, this one hasn't had any polishing, and it's doing fine, and I do not baby it. So there's that. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Appreciate it, everybody. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And everybody have a great, great rest of the Sunday. And there's the GMT with the 9F movement with that titanium flashlight next to it, that O-light next to it. So we'll wrap this puppy up. Check out the videos on my channel. Keyword search my channel. You'll find the video that you're probably looking for. Thank you, everybody.